So let's start with what actually happened yesterday. How did we go yesterday? So yesterday we analyzed, this was like a very profitable trade yesterday. This is USD JPY. Now in my analysis, so I hold analysis within the Discord group every other day, but on YouTube I'm now doing Mondays and Wednesday. The YouTube live, but those on Discord gets this, and of course those in the Telegram channel get into the signal channel. Now those in the Telegram group get the signals. So this is our analysis yesterday. I was looking at this line is liquidity I traded yesterday. This liquidity above here. Let me just bring out the markers. So this is the liquidity we have here. So this tells me that price will likely be drawn to here. So I was expecting that after this break of structure we have here, we have a drop down into this, then we go up. Or what happened is that the market actually rallied up, okay, and took the liquidity here, but there was still a very significant fair value gap here. I mean, a very significant order block here. So I still left it open. But what I did was that I took this trade. This is 5 minutes time frame. I went down. The market made this, made this, made this. So it broke structure here. It's also this actually an entry. This is an entry here, but I didn't take this entry. And it broke structure again at this particular point. This one. Okay. And what does it leave here? It left an order block here. That is why I entered here. I can see this is a very profitable trade, and what we got here is a 4.65 um, risk reward, very profitable. Then this is still the initial order, my initial analysis. So we came down, tapped into it, and we went up again, giving us a 4.92 risk reward. So yesterday it's a total of we were well above 9% in profit if you're risking 1%. Very profitable trade. So that's like a 9x. But so for GBP, our entry didn't hit, which is fine. We made good with you we made good with Euro USD. For this, our entry didn't hit, which is also fine. GBP JPY, we didn't also come to entry, and BTC, our entry we didn't come to our entry, and BNB, for BNB, I actually had a losing trade, so it's fine. This is the first entry, but this is I want to take a second entry, but I had a losing trade here. So this was Ethereum. I didn't think I analyzed Ethereum in the Discord group yesterday, but at least we had a very profitable um, Euro USD trade. Now let's look at today and see what we're going to come about today. So what I do is I'm going to clear all this. I'm going to clean all this. So we'll start afresh today. So we're removing all these ones. And I'm just going to go to the 4-hour time frame. So top down analysis, we start from the 4 hours and we come down. So what do we have on the 4 hours? Let me remove all these other smaller ones in between here. So we'll have this a clean chart. So 4 hours. So this is still the initial movement I'm expecting because we had a break of structure to the downside here on the 4 hours. So this is still my target. You can see it. My target is still, or I'm still expecting we go up here, tap into this 4-hour demand and supply zone, and we go down. So that is still the higher time frame bias for me. Now let's now scale down to 1 hour because 4 hours, nothing has really changed. Let me zoom in to see if we can have more demand zone. So This is a 4 hour demand zone that okay, I'm just going to change this back to 4 hour demand zone. This is a 4 hour demand zone. Since we are way above it, um, I'm going to take it back to the 4 hours. 4 hour demand zone. Why is it a demand zone? Because we have a fair value gap here. Okay, so 1 hour now. What can we find on the 1 hour? So you can see that on the 1 hour, we have actually done this. We have, at this point, this here is a swing point. So we are breaking structure here this way. It's a bunch of, this is trying to resist, but we are breaking it, right? Price is breaking that structure. So what is there? So once structure is broken, what can happen? What are the possible things that can happen? One, we can have the market actually go like this before going this way and then going this way. This so you can see that demand and supplies on where our magnet point where the market gets magneted to. I'm just gonna move this to this side. Okay, so we on the 1 hour we are busy attacking this zone, but we are seeing a lot of resistance here. If you look at the price action here on the 1 hour, it is actually been very efficient. I'm not seeing any gap that is not filled on the 1 hour. It's been efficient. Now, but if you look at this particular movement is leaving a zone here because we have a huge, this is zone that is left here because we have a huge gap at here. We have a huge, where is it? We have a huge gap here on the 1 hour. So normally, um, this what we have here on the 1 hour is not a breakout structure. So I usually expect to see a break or structure to this side. Okay. So when we have a proper breakout structure, because this is a sweep, not a breakout structure, then it's more likely we do this and we go higher. Okay, so this will be my trade for today if this does this, if this is a proper break. But when it's a sweep, usually it just flows down, right? It just flows down when it's a sweep. So to take this trade, I think what we're going to do first is to actually wait for to have. Now, this is a, going back to this is a 1 hour demand zone. Okay. But I won't call it a demand zone yet until we have, until if we have a break here, then it's a demand zone. Because what we have here is a sweep. So to call it a demand zone, there has to be a break or structure to this upside. So what I want to do is, this is 6:46 in Nigerian time, is to just wait for this candle to close. This candle can close above here, it can close beneath here. Again, what I'm looking at is if we have a break that confirms this to be a break of structure, then I expect this to go higher. Okay. But if we have a sweep, if this candle closes and it's just a sweep, then I'm actually expecting us to see this move into this zone and we move lower this way, maybe to move higher. Before I continue, let's just check Forex Factory. Is there any news we need to be aware of today? Non-farm employment change. That is the only high impact news we're having here today. So you should be careful around 1:15 and 3 p.m. West African time if you're trading. But we can still find trade before that time. Okay, let's go to the 15 minutes now and see if we can refine. 15 minutes, let's see if we can refine. If you look here, we still have efficient price actions all the way. All these plays are all efficient. Efficient price action. So the only inefficiency is still here. So there is possibilities. I'm still looking at this market coming down here. It can go higher, it can break it. Okay. If you had a proper break of structure here, then it's more likely go higher. But since we don't have that, it can break lower. But again, it can still break higher. So what can we trade here? What we can trade is to wait for, if the market doesn't properly break structure above, we just have to wait to see what it does here. What it does here before we take a trade. If it gives a confirmation entry, then we can take the trade at this point. If it breaks below, then we cannot take the trade to go lower. This is just the two things we can do with regards to this region. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to place an alert around this point so that once the market get here, I'm going to be alerted and I can come back, do further analysis and know if I'm going to make an entry or not. Okay. So, but still on this, there are still opportunities. If you want to go like deeper into the 5 minutes time frame or even the 2 minutes time frame to trade, it's still possible. It's riskier. You have to know what you're doing to do this. So this is the 2 minutes time frame. So this is the last high we had. This high here, this is the last high. This is the swing point that led to this high. Again, let me mark it out. So we had a swing, this, a little retracement. It's not a big one. Then we had this upward movement. Now we're trying to come down, So what am I looking for? I'm looking for this to be broken, this particular structure to be broken. If this is broken, then we can start looking for um, an order block here. So this is the supply zone here. We have a tiny fair value gap here. So if we have this to be a proper break of structure, mind you, always wait for the structure to be broken. Then we can now place a trade. We can go short from here, clear the high, and target is this region or this region. This will give you a 3.72 risk reward. Reiterate this. Let me repeat myself. Okay. Now, to take this trade, you have to be sure that this candle breaks below this particular line here that I drew. Then that is when you can take this trade. If it doesn't go up below this line, then don't bother with this. So this will be the first trade I'll be looking at. Bring this down. Then when it gets here, because now on the okay, on the 2 minutes we had a proper break, but on the 15 minutes, right, which is where I mostly trade, there is not a proper break or structure. Let me see if we have it on the 5 minutes. The 5 minutes, no. Okay, so on the 5 minutes, yeah. So with this, okay, this is a viable trade to take. But um, what I'm trying to say is, for from this region, when it gets to this region, I'm not going to just go ahead and say, okay, it has gotten to this region. I'm going to take a long position. It can happen actually. It can happen. Take a long position, target the high. That is a 4.16 risk reward. This can happen. But because on the 15 minutes, I'm not seeing a proper break or structure here, what I will now wait for when we get to this particular region is to wait for a confirmation entry. If I have this, then I'm going to now enter my trade at this point. This is well explained. I think this is well explained for Euro USD. We're gonna move. I want to move to the next asset, which is GBP USD. Please, how to study candles. So I made a video on the channel on how to on candlesticks. Well detailed. Okay, so what you can do is just search Judomano candlestick patterns, and you will see the video from me, and just watch the video. So I'm talking to Emma Emma Ntaka from Kenya. Let's go to the next asset. If you are following, please type one in the comment section so I know you are following. Type one in the comment section so I know you are following. Let me know you're following. Type one in the comment. Okay, great, great. At least the feedback shows I'm sure that I can be heard. Okay, we'll now go to the next one. GU. So GU, the same thing. I'm just going to remove all these things. Okay, I'm going to remove all of them, and we reanalyze again from the beginning. All right. So back to the 4 hours time frame. So we'll start the analysis again. So on the 4 hours, what do we have here? So this is actually similar to EU, right? But we didn't have much movement from the GU. Okay. Now, yesterday I was talking about liquidity that was taken on liquidity that formed on EU before we now had markets get to that zone. Now, if you look at this is liquidity, but it's taken actually. It's taken, but I still want to see it as relative liquidity. So I'm just gonna leave it here as liquidity. Okay. Now, since we have it here, we have our supply zone, 4 hour supply zone above here, because we're on the 4 hours. Still on the 4 hours, we have another supply zone here. I'm just gonna mark it out. Then that is one I actually deleted. We have another supply zone. Let me just take it all the way down to this point. Ooh, let's make it bigger. Okay, so why is it a supply zone? It's because we have a gap here. All right. So looking at this, if you look below, we still have another zone here. But I'm not bothered about this particular zone right now, actually. But I'm just gonna mark it out. So this is a 4 hour demand. This is also a 4 hour demand. Okay. Now let's go and see the general market structure. Okay. We had, because we work a market structure, right? So we had a low and a high. We formed an equal low here. So I expected this to be taken, but it's not taken. Then we're moving towards a high again. So we had a high here that broke the structure. It's not yet higher than this high. So this is still the ultimate high. Okay. So we can either from here. Now on the higher time frame, I'm actually seeing this as a I'm looking forward to having this actually broken. What am I doing? I'm looking forward to having this line taken, okay, eventually into this zone. But this is a very big demand zone here. But right now, this is all we have. But right now, we're bothered about what is happening within this zone from here to here. We're bothered about what is happening here. All right. So here we have break to the upside, and we did tap into this particular zone. Okay, this particular zone is a supply zone here. We had a break to the downside here, formed equal lows, then came all the way up, tapped into this zone, and came here, took liquidity into this particular order block. So where are we headed to? Where are we headed to? I still believe this to be is a pool of liquidity. So we can either simply do this. We can go up to target this new high, or we can go down. Or we can go down. These are the two things that can happen. But in the short term, because we are looking at trading right now, what can we trade? Now, there's possibility that this particular, you see this um, zone we have here is a supply zone on the 4 hours. Oh, I'm on the daily. I was wondering what was happening. I'm on the daily. I think I moved to the daily. Okay. So, but the same thing still applies. Now, if you look above here, we have a zone here. Okay, this particular zone. We have this zone here. Mind you, I said we can go above, or we can both go below. So what we're interested in right now is to trade at least to this point, because we can have price come down. We can also have price go up from here. But we're not interested in what is happening there until we get there. What we're interested in now is to trade to this particular zone or trade to this particular zone. So with that in mind, we now move. So what can happen is from this point, since we have liquidity lying here, we can do this and move higher. We can as well, we'll go lower, do this to move higher. But this one I'm looking at, this one I'm seeing here. So with that, I'm just going to go straight to the 1 hour and start looking for trading opportunities in the 1 hour. So this is what I want to see. So I'm going to refine this again back to the 1 hour zone now. So this is back to 1 hour. 1 hour, where is it again? 1 hour demand zone. So what I'm trying to see is to have this come down lower, then go higher. Hope this makes sense. Now, if you look below, we have a giant fair value gap here. So I think for this trade, I still want to see a confirmation entry this time. What do I mean? I still want to see one price comes down this way. I want to see still do this on the much lower time frame, and this is where I'll be interested to make this entry from this particular point. Okay, this is what I'll be interested to trade at this particular region. Anyway, so that is the analysis for GU. GU is not as clear as EU because of this choppy movement it made the whole of yesterday. It's not as clear. Let's move down to the 15 minutes time frame and see if we can see it's clearer, much clearer. Mhm. Okay, yeah. So that is it. I think that is just, this is what I'll be looking for. Now to trade to this particular point, I'm still looking at this. If you have this, I doubt this is gonna hold. So on the 15 minutes, we have a block at this particular point. Now I doubt that this is going to hold. We have another one below here. So what I'm just wait for is the same way I'm looking for a confirmation at this point. I'll wait to see a confirmation here and a confirmation here, because I strongly believe that since we had a sweep here, this will not be respected. This will be taken out. I don't know what happened. Some of my indicators are out on the GU. Okay, so let's move to UJ. So far the one I have clarity on. So here we have this break. So I'm going to place this limit order like this. Just what I would expect for this particular trade now, since we have a proper break of this at this point. So UJ, I'm still going to remove all this. Then we do analysis again from the top. from the 4 hours. We go again. So this is USD JPY. What can we see from the 4 hours? How did it reset? I think my chart reset. I'm trying to figure out what happened. So um, just give me a minute. I don't know why that happened. My chart had a reset. I don't know why, and my indicators went out. So let me just bring it back. I can't say why that happened. So I use an indicator called trading session by Sonadab. It just went out. You know, must have pressed something. Okay, I brought it back, but I have to now do some resets here. Okay, so I think I'm back to how it's meant to be. So back to and now do UJ. Okay. Okay, sorry for that break. We can now go back to UJ now and start again from the 4 hours. So 4 hours time frame. What do we have? We had a break of structure to the upside. Okay, to the upside, and within this zone was not respected. So the next zone is actually this zone. It's actually a very big zone. The whole of this is what I would consider to be this zone. So this is what I'm expecting from here. Expecting this to keep moving down, and maybe from here we'll move up from here. But the most important, the prominent thing now is this movement downwards from here to here. So how do we trade this down? What we do is we start marking out our demand and supply zone. Here, this is the last low that made this high. Okay, so therefore, if you have this candle close here, if this candle closes, and we can then call this a break of structure. So when that happens, then this one is no longer relevant to me now. When that happens, I can now start marking out zones. This is a zone I'll mark. It's a 4 hour zone, supply zone actually. And this one we have here, is also a 4 hour supply zone, which tells me, and this is a zone now that broke this particular structure, which tells me that this price, or we have to wait for this candle to close. This is a possible movement. So with this done, we can now move down to the 1 hour to start analyzing further. Okay, so on the 1 hour, we still don't have a break of structure until this candle closes. So if this candle closes, then I can now refine this particular one to this point, then to this particular point. Okay, and change this now to a 1 hour zone. I'm not bothered about this because this is the zone that is breaking the structure. So I'm going to call this, where are you? So I'm going to change this to a 1 hour supply zone. So this is a possibility. So how do I make this trade? It's simple. It's simply this: short position from this point. This is a high. Okay. And what is our target? Our target is this point. It's a 4.8 hour risk reward. But again, like I said, before I consider this trade, I have to wait for this candle to close. If it closes in this position where it is, then I can go ahead and place the limit order for this particular setup. So that is that for UJ. So we have clarity on EU, we have clarity on UJ. What I don't have clarity is GU. Let's go to the last forex pair that I'll be analyzing. Chima Frank, good morning. That is the GBP JPY. So GBP JPY, what do we have? We have these are a bunch of analysis we did that did not play out, so no trade was taken. I'm going to close them and reanalyze again, and we're going to start from the 4 hours. So what do I have on the 4 hours? This is the zone I said our target is. and we are moving here there. The only thing is that we didn't get an entry. If we got an entry, it would have been a very beautiful trade. Okay. So for the analysis I did yesterday on in the Discord. Okay, so we've been having market structure shift to the upside. And we'll now start breaking lower. We broke here, we took this, we broke this one again. So I was expecting at least we should take this to go lower to this point. But we haven't done that. So what are we seeing here? What we are seeing here is this low. Okay, this is the last low that is broken now. This is the last low that is broken now. This one hasn't broken actually. And this low is going to be broken. So what can I trade here? This is the zone. This zone, even though this candle is still forming, this is the price action zone, supply zone, that led to this recent breakout structure we are having. So I'm considering a movement the same, similar to what we have with the GJ, we have with GU. This is a same movement that I'm expecting to see happen. So 1 hour, then we'll do some refining and see what we can do. So 1 hour, this confirms this to be a proper breakout structure. So what I need to look for here in the 1 hour is a proper supply zone, which is this. So this is the zone. This is another breakout structure we have here. So if you look here, there is still another zone here. Okay, this one is taking. It's actually taking. It's not. Yeah, you still we have a tiny fair value gap there, not taking. So this is 1 hour. Where is my? This is a 1 hour supply zone. So 1 hour supply zone for a swing trade. I'm looking at. Let me just take this out. I'm looking at this short position from here. This is the high, and we target this low. Okay, 3.26 aligns with our strategy. Now let's refine this further on the 15 minutes. 15 minutes, we're not really seeing. Okay, yeah. So 15 minutes, I think it's just the same thing basically. Now the only thing I would say is this: we might not actually hit this. It's a safer option to trade, but it might not be hit because this can happen. Short position, this can happen from here actually. So if you target here, if you do this, you're getting a better risk reward. That is 7 hour, almost 8. But the thing is that this might just come here and take you out first. If you do this, you might miss a trade. If you decide to do this one to take it from here and higher, you're getting a much lower risk reward. That is 2.25. I don't trade unless it's at least a 3 hour. This what I'm looking at right now is GBP JPY. So this is a much lower risk reward. So I'm going to just leave it at this. Okay. If we hit it, beautiful. We make 3.26R. If we don't hit it, then it's what it is. It's better you hit trades. It's better you miss trade than to take it and lose it. So now that is all for. Let's do a quick recap. So I was looking at, so a quick recap. This one I'm looking at for um, EU. Okay, short position from here, then wait for a confirmation entry. If we get it, we take this trade from here. Okay, for GBP, I'm not clear, so I'm leaving it the way it is. For this, I'm looking at this. For UJ, we're looking at this to this point, taking a short position. For GJ, the same thing. I'm looking to take a short position from here. So that is that for the Forex pair I'm analyzing. Now let's go to crypto. We're looking at Bitcoin. We'll look at Bitcoin. Then we'll look at um, Ethereum and BNB. Okay, so this is Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't give us an entry yesterday. Okay, so this is what I was looking for: a break of structure here, entry here, and take profit here. But you can see we actually just went to take profit. We didn't hit it. Now for the upward movement, I was expecting this zone to be hit. Then we see a confirmation entry, and we take the trade from here. I will move higher. Okay, but you can see this zone wasn't hit. So again, I would say it's better you miss a trade than taking a trade to lose it. Now let's reanalyze Bitcoin for today. Let's reanalyze Bitcoin for today. So for analysis, we're going to go down to the what time frame? We're going to go down to the lower time frame. Going down to 4 hour, starting from 4 hours for Bitcoin to see. Okay, Bitcoin. I'm just going to remove this. So what do we have here? We have on the 4 hours, this is still a very viable zone that we're going to hit. Okay, I still just believe that Bitcoin needs to take this particular zone. So Bitcoin needs to get to, say, come down to below 100 to 100 or thereabouts before we have the next major move, the next major push upward. Looking at technical analysis. So this is the last high we did. So made this low from this demand zone, we moved high, made this high, then broke this particular one. Then over here, we have moved lower. But again, we didn't take this low again. We didn't take this low. We are still somewhat at this point. It looks bullish on this particular time frame. It looks, if you're looking at this region, we are still looking bullish in this region. But if you look at the whole of this region, it needs to take this particular zone to go higher. But let's just look at here because we're trading on a much lower time frame. So now I can zoom into these points to see that we have had a break of structure to this side. What I was expecting is a retracement to move higher. Okay, so what are the possible targets? This is one target here because here we have a zone here. So this one possible target. Okay, so how can we trade this to this point? That's our concern. This is another target actually. This particular one we have here is another target. So if had even I got an entry here, this would have been like TP1 and TP2, probably TP3 here. But again, we still have demand zone here. So 1 hour, let's see what we can have from the 1 hour. Now what I can notice here is that I'm going to just call this liquidity here. So whenever I have price trying to attack a particular point from here, it's liquidity to me, which means that we're going to see price likely take this particular zone. This we don't this here, price has not taken this point. So this is not a demand zone. If price has taken it, if price took that particular high, then I'm looking at seeing this happen. If price took this high, I'm looking at seeing possibly this happen to go high. But price has not taken it. As a matter of fact, we're just stalling in this region. So I'm going to move down to 30 minutes now to see if there is to see what we can trade. Okay, I can refine this down to this time frame on the 30 minutes. I like to go 13 minutes instead of 15 minutes, right? On BTC. I still go lower, but I still like to stop at 15 minutes first on cryptocurrency pairs generally. So what can I trade here? See the possibilities. This is a zone I'm looking at. Okay. So what I will mark here is this zone here, this swing point here. So I'm going to make it bold and place an alert here. If I see price go below this, all I want to do is to look for an entry here to go here. So this is my trading plan for Bitcoin today, like this. If I see price go below this, I want to look for an entry here to go here. Then from here, what I want to see is confirmation. I would like to see a confirmation entry here on the much lower time frame. Okay, if I'm meant to go higher, that is what I want to see. So this is the plan. If just does this, then is a trade for a Bitcoin. That said, we'll move straight to Ethereum. I didn't look at Ethereum yesterday, maybe because I didn't have the time to do that yesterday. So we'll start from the 4 hours too for Ethereum. Um, okay, so Ethereum, 4 hours. What do we have? We have breakout structure here. Possibility is that we go here, take this, and go lower. Okay. Now, but we have made this. It is not a break of structure, but we have cleared, we have swept it to liquidity here. Down here on the 4 hours, we have a zone here. We have a demand zone here. So possibility is this, that we have this go down, up before coming down. Okay. Then we can now zoom in to 1 hour to see, can we refine this? What can we trade now? Here we have um, inside here, we had a break of structure here. Is clear. Then we didn't really have a demand zone here, but I think what was respected here was simply Fibonacci. So Fibonacci 705 62 was respected here. So I think we're going down for um, Ethereum. What we can trade now is still this. So if you look at this, okay, if we have this, if you have a break below this, then we can do this to this zone. I'm going to refine this one too. 1 hour, refine it to this particular point. So this is my 1 hour demand zone. Now 30 minutes for the final check. So you can see that on the 1 hour for Ethereum, we didn't have a zone, but you can see that on the 30 minutes, this is the zone that was respected, this particular zone. You can see that. So this is a trade to go short. So we have a break of structure. This is a supply zone, and we are going short on this. So I just want to wait for the next entry. The next entry is that when we break this structure here, I'm going to mark it, create an alert. Then this is possibly here. It's the supply zone I'll be looking at to take the trade from. But I need this structure to be broken to the downside, okay? This is, where is it again? Short position from here. I want to go higher a little and target here. This is what I'm looking at. So as a matter of fact, from here, if you have this taken, this low, this is just an internal consolidation. This is an internal consolidation. So I'm waiting for here to be broken. Then I can now go as low as this. Maybe probably extend my stop loss to be much higher. So again, if this plays out for Ethereum, then this is a play for me for Ethereum. BNB, final coin to analyze. Again, this is a losing trade I took yesterday. You can't win all. That's just it. So But I'm still going to start from the daily, from the 4 hours for BNB. Okay, and see. This is the long-term analysis I have. I think it's still valid. It's still valid because here we tapped into we made a high, tapped into this zone, made this. So a pullback is necessary for us to go higher. So I'm still gonna go with this one. But what I'm looking for right now is how do I trade this further? How do I trade this lower? Okay, here we had, so internally here, we had a break of structure this way. Break of structure this way. So I'm going to go to the 1 hour now and see what can I trade from this point. So here we have a 30 minutes zone here. Okay. And so sorry, 1 hour zone here. So possibility is this. Is I will go short from here. Target is high. I will go all the way to the zone. 3.92, almost a 4 hour. Now to refine it, finally, we're going down to the 30 minutes. So you can see that there's also a possibility. These are all efficient. These zones here, they're all efficient, apart from this last candle. So on the 30 minutes, we'll see that we still have this. Okay, it's a supply zone. So the market can actually hit this point. So therefore, if we do this, for example, this is a much better option to take. Okay, it gives you better risk reward. Maybe not better risk reward, but it gives you a safer entry. But the problem with this is that this trade can actually be missed. This trade can be missed. Okay. The next possible entry is that we do this. So short position from here. Okay, we do this. But the thing is that if we do this, we get a better risk reward. But the thing is that our trade can also, we can, what am I saying? We can, our stop loss can be hit. Another option is to take it all the way to this point, which is what I did earlier. Okay, we get a 3.6 and 3.4. We take it to this area, hoping that this is not, the high is not taken. The last option is to wait for a confirmation entry. So what I mean, if this gets to this point, is doing this. Okay, when it now breaks structure to the downside, then that's when we now enter. So that way, so if you have a break up, for example, see what I mean. This is the last break. This this is upward, downward, upward. So this is a last break, right? So if we have this go below this, then we want to enter around here. So we can take it down. So this market is still going up. It can keep going this. So we don't know if it's going to get here or wherever it gets to. But once it makes the last low, comes down and breaks that particular low, then we'll now start looking for a retracement to take the market down. So that way we get a better risk reward. And we are not, how do I put it? We know that we are not, we're not, with the risk is much reduced. So this is it for me. I've analyzed the pairs, I think it's time for me to just go and start placing my orders. So I'm going to take just 2 questions, and we end this live. To get into the signal channel, we have a new way to get into the channel, but we've not launched it because right now, um, because the new way walks you through everything, walks you how to take the signals, walks you step by step process. But if you want to join the signal channel now, just scroll down to the bottom of this video. You will see the Telegram channels. You see one for crypto, you see one for Forex. Just click on it, follow the instructions, and you'll get into the channel. Hope that is clear. And those on Discord, I'll see you guys tomorrow for more trades and analysis. Any question? Any question? So nobody is asking a question. I think we are going to end here. Bye, everyone. Have a profitable trading day.